Hello friends, welcome to this video from Shatravanas. In this video, we are going to learn about AWS CloudFormation. AWS CloudFormation allows you to model your entire infrastructure and application resources with either a text file or a programming language. You create a template that describes all the AWS services that you want, like EC2, RDS, and AWS CloudFormation takes care of provisioning, configuring all those resources. For example, you want to create an EC2, you want to create a VPC, you want to create an RDS. Okay, the entire thing can be described in a template, in a predefined template, and you can give it to CloudFormation. CloudFormation will take the responsibility of creating, managing, and then finally deleting it for you. You don't need to individually create and configure AWS resources and figure out what's depend on what. So this is one of the best feature of the CloudFormation. Let's assume that you want to create some 5 resources, 5 EC2s, 2 RDS and a VPC, and you also want to ensure that before EC2 and the RDS are created, the VPC has to be created first, and then the EC2 and then the RDS. So you don't need to create it individually and you don't need to manage it individually as well. So you can write a script in a template, and if you just give it to CloudFormation will take care of creating the entire infrastructure and managing these dependencies as well. AWS CloudFormation is also referred to as infrastructure as a code because the entire infrastructure that you want to build on the AWS can be created and can be kept as a code, and whenever you want you can use it quite easily, and that's why it is called as an infrastructure as a code. In terms of CloudFormation, there are 3 important stuff that you have here. So one is called as the templates, the next one is called as the stacks, and the third one is called as the change sets. Templates are nothing but it is the actual code that you will write to create an infrastructure. Let's say an example, EC2 I want to create a VPC, I want to create an RDS. So these informations, what in resources that you want to create will be mentioned in a template. The template is in either JSON format or it has to be in a YAML format. Okay, the template, even though it is in a JSON or a YAML format, it can be stored in any of the extension. For example, it can be stored as a .json file, or it can be stored as a .yaml file. It can also be stored as a .text file. So there is no restriction as such on the extension. However, your template has to comply to the norms of the JSON and the YAML formatting test. This particular template will be treated as a blueprint to create the AWS resources. So whatever is written in that particular template, that template will be created in the infrastructure by the CloudFormation. Okay, so the template has to be very descriptive. You have to specify what is that you want exactly in that particular template, and AWS CloudFormation is going to create it for you. The stack is nothing but it's a managed related resources in a single unit. As we took an example wherein we want to create 5 EC2s, 2 RDS, 1 VPC with public and private subnet, and when you launch CloudFormation to do or create all these activities through a template, the entire infrastructure is treated as a single unit, and that single unit is called as a stack. Within the stack, it is you can create the stack will help you to create, update, and the delete the entire infrastructure. That's why it is created, or that's why it is treated as a single unit. The inputs to these stacks are the templates. So the first is you create a template and give it to the stack, and then the stack will create the resources based on the templates. These stacks can be managed either via AWS console or the API or the CLIs. Then you have a change set. Change set is very helpful when you want to update the infrastructure already created by this stack. So you already have 5 EC2s, 2 RDS and a VPC, and you want to add another RDS, or probably you want to change one of the RDS. And change set will help you to understand what this new resource is going to make an impact on your existing resource. So that is what is called as a change sets. In terms of steps to be followed to create an infrastructure using a cloud formation, the first is the template. Either you can create a template yourself if you know the JSON and if you know the YAML format, and it is a very easy format that YAML and JSON follows. So if you just little practice, you'll be able to create it yourself from the scratch. So either you can create it, or AWS also has lot of templates. Those have been put onto the AWS documentation. There are a lot of templates also available in the GitHub based on your requirement. You can just go and pull them off. Then prepare all the prerequisite. For example, you just want to create an EC2 on the default VPC. So you have to ensure that the default VPC is already available in the AWS. So such prerequisites has to be met before you go and create the infrastructure. Then the third one is create the stack. You actually create the stack using the template, and then you monitor the progress. So while creating the stack, it will give a detailed details about what is happening with that create stack, whether it is able to create a respective server, a respective VPC, or an RDS, what is the status of it, whether it has failed or not failed, or it is successfully. It's all the details will be available in the progress monitoring. Then you have the entire stack created, which you can go and use it. After that, if you really do not want to use that infrastructure, if it is not in the production which you want to maintain it for 24/7, then you can just clean it. Cleaning up is also pretty simple. You just delete that stack and the entire infrastructure created under that stack will be cleaned up by itself. And the next time again you want, you just give that template and the entire infrastructure is recreated. And that's the beauty of this cloud formation. That's why it is quite popular these days. In terms of a template anatomy, we have given both the anatomy, the JSON as well as the YAML file. So there are a predefined format in which you have to create these templates. And the first one that you have is AWS template formation version. This is the format or the version of the JSON or the YAML format itself. This is not the version of your individual JSON file. This is the version of the JSON and YAML formatting. So the current version that we have is 9th September 2010 is the latest version that we are using as a formatting of the JSON. Then we have a description. You can write a description about this particular template, what it is used for. Then if you want to specify the additional parameters to this infrastructure, you can specify in the metadata section. Then you have a parameters. Parameters help you to take the inputs from the user while creating the infrastructure. For example, you want to take the inputs from the user while creating this infrastructure. What should be the tag name of the EC2? What should be the tag name of the RDS? What should be the CIDR block for the different subnets that you are creating VPC? So such inputs, if you are expecting from the user, then you can write it in the parameter sessions. Then you have a mappings. Mappings helps you to map certain parameters against certain values. For example, you want to specify all the AMI IDs that you want to use in different region, and based on the region, that particular AMI ID should be supplied to the EC2s that you are creating as part of this particular stack. So just by creating the mapping, I'll specify for this region, this is the AMI ID to be used. For Mumbai, this is the AMI ID to be used. And while creating the stack, we will specify use this region. So it takes the AMI ID by itself. So such mappings can be done in this section. Then you have a conditions. Conditions are nothing but so we have multiple dependencies. So when you are creating EC2 RDS as well as the VPC, the condition is that the VPC has to be created first, the public and the private subnet has to be created first, and then the EC2 can be launched. Then the RDS can be launched in the private subnet of the VPC. So this is the condition. So while creating the EC2, we can give a condition saying that this depends on the VPC. So now the stack understand, yes, VPC has to be created, and unless that is successful, it will not allow the EC2 to be created. So such conditions can be given in the condition section. Then we have a transform section. This transform is used especially with serverless applications such as Lambda, wherein you specify what is the the SAM version that will be used in the transform. Then you have resources. The resources are nothing but the actual resources that you want to create as part of this particular stack. EC2, VPC, RDS, or anything that you want to create. All those are nothing but your resources. Then you have an outputs. Once the resources are created, you want to display certain outputs of it. For example, you want to give the output of an instance ID, or you want to give an output of a VPC ID, or something like that. Whatever you want to display out to the customer or the user as part of the output of this particular stack creation, then that is going to be an output. So this particular template that we have is a JSON format, and you probably are already familiar with the JSON format. So it starts with all these brackets and the quotes and comma and everything. This is how the JSON format goes. Those who are not familiar with the JSON format, they can also use an YAML format. YAML format is relatively simple considering to the JSON, because it doesn't have a lot of open brackets, the close brackets, the commas to be used in the YAML. So depending on whatever you are comfortable with, either YAML or a JSON, you can choose that respective format to create your template. The number of sections that we have remains same. So you must have looked at, all are in a black, but there is only one thing in a red. So resources is a very key section in the template, and remaining all the sections that we have discussed are optional. So I may not mention the version, I may not mention the description, I may not mention the metadata, but resources is mandatory. You cannot have a template without resources. That's why I have highlighted it in a different color. Okay, the same case with YAML JSON as well. The formatting does not differ. All the sections are optional except the resources section. These are the same description that I just explained about the template. There is a sample template here, and this sample template creates an EC2 with a default setting on the VPC. Okay, so this is the description that we have written. Then we write resources. Resources has a new instance one. So new instance one is the name of the instance or that section that we want to give it. Then we'll say type AWS EC2 instance. Then this particular instance should have a properties, the image ID. This I want to create this EC2 based on this image ID. The type of the instance is G2 micro. I think these are the two least things that I can supply when I'm creating the EC2. Okay, and the third one is I will also supply what is the tag name associated with this instance. Okay, so this is the most basic EC2 that I'm creating with all the default settings on the default VPC. Okay, so if you really want to understand what all the different properties that I can use along with this type of the EC2, then you can refer to this link. This link will take you to a section wherein all the supported services are listed along with the different properties. Okay, so let me explain here. New instances, one is the name that you would like to give it for yourself, so that you understand that this is for the EC2. So if you are creating two EC2s as part of this section, then probably I will name it as new instance 1, new instance 2, something like that. Okay, this is a user friendly name that you want to give it for your reference. Then I will say, what is this? This is the predefined. This is the static. I cannot change these wordings or the letters here. So type AWS, it is a EC2. In that EC2, a service called as instance is what you are creating. For this instance, these are the properties. Okay, so this is how the template is created, and this is a sample template that we have. Now, while creating the template, you have different functions that you can use other than the static keywords which are available as part of the templates. So one of the function that frequently we use is called as get attribute, get attribute. These are called as intrinsic functions which will return some value. That's why it's called as a function. Okay, so you can map this one with the C or the C++ functions that you used to create in your college days and all. Okay, Java functions or C functions. Okay, these are the same functions used in the JSON and a YAML to do the specific activities. Each function returns a certain thing. So the first one is get attribute. Get attribute will help you to fetch an attribute value from the resources that has been created. For example, we create an ELB out of this stack, and ELB will return the DNS name. So if you want that DNS name of the ELB, then it's a get attribute. And any function, anything that you are using, either you can use with fn colon get attribute, or in a shortcut you can use it with the exclamatory mark. So with this mark, if we say get attribute my ELB, which is the resource that has been created, dot DNS name, it returns the DNS name of this ELB that has been created. So where do you write my ELB? My ELB is nothing but this. Instead of new instance one, you will write it as my ELB, and then you will say type AWS EC2, then it is in ELB, and whatever the properties that you want to mention with that. So that my ELB's DNS name will be written, which you can go and maybe you can give it as an output. You really want to see the output as what is the DNS name that it creates for the ELB, and you can get like that. The same way, if you want to fetch all the availability zones in that particular region, say you want to work in a Mumbai region, and you want to fetch all the availability zones, 1A, 1B, and 1C. Okay, it gives a output of an array that you can assign it to the EC2 creation. For example, you are creating this EC2 in a Mumbai region, and in the one of the properties I can specify availability zone, properties availability zone, get availability zone. Okay, and in that availability zone, it will give the list of all the availability zones which are available in that region, and returns that array. And in that, you want to pick the first one, or the second one, or the third one. 1A is going to be the 0th, 1B is going to be the first one, 1C is going to be the second one. Okay, so you can use select as well. Okay, there is a function called as select. Select will help you to choose a certain value, or a specific value based on the number that you specify. So in this example, if I say explanatory mark select, which is a function, 0th of get AZ, and if you are in Mumbai region, it will return 3, and out of that 0 is the first value, it will return 1A. That's how you assign. Okay, and the same select. So you have an option here. So if I have apples, grapes, oranges, and mangoes, and if I say select of 1 is nothing but grapes. So this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, and this is 3. Okay, so this is same like the arrays and the function concept that we had learned in C. Then you have a sub is nothing but it's a substitute. For example, here if you look at the key name of that particular resource, we want to give it as the environment name, a variable called as environment name plus the static name. So this is the variable, and this is a static. So if you want to use such thing, then we will use a substitute. Okay, then you have refer is you want to refer to certain IDs. Okay, then you will say a VPC. For example, if I had to go back to this example of creating an EC2, this EC2 I want to create it in a VPC, my VPC that has been created as part of the stack. Then one of the property is VPC ID. I'll specify VPC ID. Then how do I get the VPC ID? Because VPC's ID is also again created as part of the stack. Then I'll just specify refer the VPC ID. So that's what we do here. Okay, so we will see certain labs also on this, and wherein your concept on this will be a little more clear. And then you have pseudo parameters. Pseudo parameters are nothing but the fixed parameters. Those are by default supported by the CloudFormation. One is the region, which will return the region, current region, and then account ID, the account ID from which the stack has been created. Notification ARNs, all the notification ARNs, that is the SNS notification ARNs will be returned. Then you have a stack name. If you want to return the stack name will be used. For example, in the output I can say my stacks region is, I can say region. It means it will tell this stack was created in this particular region. So this is how the pseudo parameters, which are the fixed parameters, are created. Okay, so that's it for this particular slides, and let's go back and look at two of the JSON, two of the YAML files, and we'll see on the AWS how do we really create these stacks and how do we work on it. Okay, so I will close this slide deck and I will go to the AWS. For this particular demo, I have already logged into the AWS, and as you can see, I logged in with my company ID, and I'm in Mumbai region. And I have opened three tabs. One is for the stacks, one is for the S3 console, and one is for the instances. Okay, so currently I do not have any of the instances. I will go to the stacks. So how do I go to the stacks? It's just a similar thing, services, and if you just say cloud formation on the main console, you will come to this stack. Currently I do not have any stack, that's why it is in a create stack statement. Then why do I use S3? I will just explain that in a minute. And then the third tab is instances, where currently we do not have any of the instances in the Mumbai region. Okay, so as step number one, what is the requirement? The requirement is that we need to either pick a template from a ready template, or we need to write. So we have two templates that we will be demonstrating as part of this particular demo. The one template is both I have kept it here in my notepad plus, and this is the first demo, yes, first template that we will be using. Sorry for that. And this is a pretty simple template which is written in an YAML file. I feel very comfortable using an YAML file than the JSON. So in all the CloudFormation, I use YAML files. Okay, but it doesn't really make any difference. Anytime you can convert this YAML into a JSON file and JSON into an YAML file by using the CloudFormation tool itself. Anyway, you can do that. Okay, so I simply write in the YAML file because it is quite easy and user friendly to write as well. So in the example, you can see that we have given this template version, which is 20 September 9th 2010, and then I have given the description, creating an EC2 with the default settings. We don't do a lot of parameters along with this EC2. Then I will call it as new instance one, and as I said, this is the user friendly name that we want to create, and which is under resources. Okay, under resources I specify new instance one, and I'll say type is, it's an instance. This instance should have a properties. What image ID is this, type is this, as well as I will give a tag called as name. A key is the name, and then value is CF instance, which is CloudFormation instance. Now I want to do this. I want to make an infrastructure based on this particular code. Then how do I do that? Okay, so for that you have to go to CloudFormation into stacks. Then I'll say create stack. Then it will ask you whether you have the template ready, or you can use the sample template. AWS has already given so many sample templates. You can say you can create a LAMP server, a Ruby, Rails stack, WordPress blob. A lot of templates are by default available, or you can create in a designer as well. Okay, so designer is another visualization that has been created by CloudFormation, and I'll try to upload another video to teach this designer. So currently the intent of this demo is to go through this YAML and the JSON file and create a stack out of it. So I will not go to the designer now. Then I'll say template is ready because we already have the template ready. And then it will ask me, I can either directly upload that template from my laptop here, or I will have to go to Amazon S3. That particular template has to be uploaded onto an S3, and I can refer that, and that is the easier way. Even internally also, if I upload here, it is going to create a S3 bucket for me, and it's going to dump that file there. Okay, instead of that, I have already created an S3 bucket, and I have uploaded both the templates that we are going to use as part of this particular demo. Okay, and if I just open this, and I have given a public access, if I just open it, it's going to show me the same thing, the same template that we just referred to. Okay, I'll just come back here. Okay, and as you can see that both has a txt extension. It doesn't really make any difference what extensions we have with this files. So what I will do, I'll go to the first file here, I'll go to the URL of it, copy link address, and I will give it to the stack. Then I'll say next. If there are any errors in that particular YAML file, you will never come to this particular window. Immediately you will get an error there saying that there are some errors in this YAML file, or there are some files in this template, and you need to go and correct that. Okay, it does not allow you to continue if there is an error on that. The error could be the syntax error where you are not type the keywords like EC2 instances properly, or there could be also possibly the error could be because of the indenting. Okay, the indenting is very strict here. For example, so there has to be, you know, two letters space. So this starts with resources here with a 0, then this is 1 and this is 2. Okay, and if you look at this 1 and 2, okay, this is in 4. So please do not use tab, and this is again 1 and 2. So every section has to be created with a 2 spacing. Okay, please do not use a tab. CloudFormation does not understand the tab. Sometime I have seen that it creates errors, so please use your space bars to do that. Okay, so that is what you have to do, and you have to maintain a space of 2 characters. Okay, and this is 4 character, this is 6 character, and it's like that. Okay, even if your indenting is improper, then you'll get an error in the first step itself. So since we do not have any problem here, so I have sorry, so I have passed through that first step, and I reached to the next step. In the next step, you give a name. I will call it as EC2 hyphen creation. Okay, it's a stack name, and currently I'm not expecting anything from the user. That's why it is parameters are nil. Then I'll say next. Then it will ask me the key name. If you really want to give the tags to the resources, those are created as part of this tag, then you can give it here. Okay, but if the tag names are already given within the template, then that will supersede. Those tags will be applicable. Just for any of the resource, if the tags are not given as part of your template, then these tag names will be used. So I will give here, and I will call it as cf resources, just to specify that any resources that has been created are cf resources, just to identify that. Then you have permissions. Either the same user that we have logged in should have a permission to create all these resources as part of the template, or in just in case if it doesn't have it, you can also create a role, and that role can be assigned here. Then you have advanced policies. In the advanced policies, you can specify a stack policy. Stack policy is nothing but so you do not want sorry, or you do not want an unintentional updates to your stack updates. Then you can set a policy here. Okay, either you can write a directly policy here, or you can upload a policy in terms of a JSON, and you can control how to update that particular stack. Okay, currently we'll go with no stack policy. Then there is a rollback configuration. Rollback configuration is nothing but this is basically more than a rollback. So this has a CloudFormation monitoring. In the monitoring, though it is written as a rollback configuration, this is especially for the monitoring. When do you want that stack resources to be start monitoring? By default, it is 10 minutes. After 10 minutes, all the resources in the stack will start get monitoring. So if you want the settings to be changed, then you command do it here. Then you have a notification options. In the notification option, if the resources is creation is complete, if the resources is deleted, then you want to notify someone using an SNS service, simple notification service from AWS, then you can use that. Okay, you have to create an SNS topic in the SNS service, and you can allocate that SNS to this. So currently we are not doing this either. Then stack creation option. So this is very important setting which I really like about CloudFormation is a rollback on failure. So one of the very good thing that you can set with CloudFormation is that if I again have to go back to the example of 5 EC2s against, and then 2 RDS and then 1 VPC, and just by mistake, because of the spelling mistake or because of any other reason, if one of the resource is not able to create by the stack, then it does not leave the infrastructure half boiled. It will roll back completely. It will remove all the resources. It does not leave anything, and that is one of the good feature. Otherwise, imagine a situation where 6 servers are created, one VPC is created, and then the stack says no, there is an error, I cannot process it further. So you have to manually go and delete everything. So that does not happen. So either the stack will be created, all the resources in the stack will be created completely, or none of them will be created. Okay, so this is the option. This is called as a rollback on failure. So by default it is enabled. I would recommend that you continue having it as enabled itself. If it disable, then the deletion, just in case of a stack failure, you have to do the rollback yourself. Then you can give a timeout also, uh, another number of minutes before the stack creation timeout and all. So you can give the timeout. And then termination protection. So termination protection is once the EC2 is created, whether that EC2 will be allowed to terminate or not. Like there is a feature wherein even accidentally you do not want that EC to be terminated, then you choose that enable. But for a day one test environment, I recommend that you continue to have it in a disabled mode. So these are all the option settings that you do. Otherwise, by default, the setting is already done. Okay, then with that, you just say next, and then it is going to have that template in the CloudFormation. Then it will give an estimation cost as well. So this estimation cost is nothing but on the infrastructure that you are going to create, how much you are going to incur the cost, and this is just for a budgeting purpose. It may not be accurate as well. Okay, so I just leave it, and then as I said, it does not ask for any parameters because we don't expect any input from the user. So we just scroll down and just say create stack, and the stack creation starts. So as you can see, create in progress. I can keep refreshing it, and so this will take a couple of minutes. I will pause the video here, and once the creation is completed, then I will come back and I will demonstrate it again. Yeah, welcome guys, and it took almost a couple of minutes to create this because this is a very simple template that we have just creates an EC2 with the default settings. So it did not took a very long time, and once it is done, it created. If I just go to the resources of it, first let's see the status. This says that create is complete. Then if I go to the resources of it, it will show me what resources it has created. It has created an EC2. Then if I say output, there is no output because in the template column there were no outputs. And then it will also show me the template that has been used to create this EC2, right? And stack info, it will show me what all the stack info, what ID and all. Okay, now if I go to the instances, and if I click on refresh here, you can see that there is an instance with CV instance. Okay, CF-instance. Okay, but if you look at this particular tag, we had given CF resources, right, in the while creating the stack. It took CF instance because CF instance is part of your template itself. If there was no tag mentioned here, then it would have taken that CF resources given at the time of stack creation. Okay, now this particular EC2 has been created as a stack, and I can go and work as if this is the normal EC2 that I create with the traditional way. Okay, now I do not want to work on this EC2 anymore. Now I want to stop it. Okay, so don't go and terminate from here. Instead, what you can do is I'll just go back to the stacks, and I will say delete this stack. Okay, I can um, say delete. It's a delete stack. And now when I delete the stack, it is going to delete this stack, as well as it is going to delete all the resources those are created as this particular stack. So it is not about one EC2. So when you create even 5 EC2s with 2 RDS with 1 VPC with couple of IAM and everything. Okay, just by deleting that stack, the entire infrastructure will be deleted. The next time again you want to create, it's again the same process. Just give that template and create a stack, right? and if I just go back to the instances, it is already in a shutting down, and after a couple of minutes this will get into a terminate state. Okay, so let's not wait for this. Okay, I don't have anything. If I just go to the stacks now, I don't have any stacks. All the stacks got deleted. Okay, now let's go to another example, which is little more advanced than the simple basic template that we have seen. And I'll go on to my Notepad Plus and I will demonstrate to you here. So we in this example, we have again the same version and we have a description, then we have a parameter. With this parameter, we are also expecting a an input from an user to give the tag name. And that's why this is the easy to name. It's just a friendly name that you can give, and the description is easy to name, type is string, and default is this one. It's a default value. The default stands for default value. So this is the parameter. Parameter section helps us to give the input to this template during the runtime. Then I'll create the resources. I'll say new instance 1, and this is an instance. Image ID I'll take the instance type, and monitoring I'll give some more parameters, and tags, you can see the tag name now. This is how you refer a variable from within the template. So this EC2, now this value is this EC2. So I'm referring this. I already explained this reference, which is nothing but a function, predefined function within the CloudFormation. And this EC2 name, instead of this EC2, it will replace with this, provided we don't have given any other input. Okay, so the tag name of this server is going to be my first CF EC2. Then we also create a security group as part of this template. We also create a security group, and as you can see that this security group type is EC2 security group, and properties of the security group is the group name, the description, and then I will write an ingress rule. In the ingress rule, I am making it all open, and I will call it as wide open. We said, okay, this is completely open. Okay, and I want to mention that to this EC2, I want to refer to this security group. How do I refer? Is the same again. Explanatory mark, refer new SG. Okay, this is how you refer the different values within the template. Okay, and then we also have an output session. In the output, we'll display the instance ID. So what is the instance ID? Nowhere we have mentioned the instance ID, right? But instance ID is then output from this, right? From this section is the output. So that's what we have mentioned here. Value is reference to new instance ID. This. So whatever it creates as part of this section, it is going to give the output in terms of instance ID to this. Okay. So this is what we are going to execute now in our CloudFormation, and we will see how the output varies. So again, the process remains same. I have already uploaded it onto the S3, as you can see here. CF creation EC2 and default VPC with new SG with parameters. So I'll click here, and in the S3 I will copy this link address. Then I'll go to my stack. I'll say create stack. Template is ready. It is in Amazon S3, and instead of this I will paste the URL of the new file. So next, so it is clear, there are no errors. I'll give name as EC2 and SD creation. I'll give a stack name. Okay, so do not use spaces, it does not take the space. So whenever, if you want to differentiate the words, you please give the hyphen there. Okay, then as you can see, this is the parameter name. Okay, in the parameter name, this is what it is written as the EC2 name, and this is going to attach as the tag name if I want something else. So this is not my first, right? This is second. I'll call it as second CloudFormation EC2. Then I'll say next. Okay, then this tag I don't want to give it now because we already have the tags inside, so I don't want to use this particular tag. Then let's try to give the tag also, and let's see if there are any resources, especially for the security group that it takes. CF resource, I don't want to give any permissions or anything. I'll just go with the default and I'll say next, and it creates. Then I'll say create stack. Yeah, and I will have to wait now because it has to create a security group, it has to create a EC2 on the VPC. Probably it will take a couple of minutes more than the previous example. So I'm going to pause this video, and once it is successful, I will come back and I will demonstrate again. Yeah, welcome back guys, and as you can see that the status of the stack is complete. It took almost 2-3 minutes to do all the activities, and if I look at the resources of it, there are two resources those have been created, right? One is called as the new instance one, and one is a new security group. We are also creating security group as part of this particular stack. Then outputs, instance id, it has given the instance id as an output. Then parameter, we have taken the parameter, and then this is the template that we have used, correct? Yeah. Now let's go to the instances of it, and I'll just refresh, and you just see that there's another server. And can you see the tag name? The tag name is my second CF EC2. This is what we had given during the runtime of stack creation. It has everything. Now let's go back and check the security group. Security group is wide open, right? And I'll just scroll down and I'll click on security group, and for the security group, can you see here CF resource? So we did not give any key tag name to the security group in the template. So it has taken it from the stack stack creation process, right? It's a CF resource. And if I click on this, if I go to the inbound, you can see that all the ports are opened here, correct? So this is what we created as part of this template, and we assigned that one to the EC2 at the runtime, right? Now I finished working on all these things. If I had to go back to, and if I had to delete the entire infrastructure that has been created, the simple process for me, I just go and delete this. I also have an option of updating it where I give a new template, and I can do that. So there is also something called as with existing resources. You can create a new one with the existing resources. Then you can create a current stack. So change set is nothing but when you want to update this stack with the new resources, then, and you want to see the impact, what it is going to be impact with the existing resources, then you can choose a change set here. Or you can update the resource, use current template or replace the current template. Instead of one EC2, if I want two EC2s, or if I, instead of one security group, if I want two security group, all such changes can be done using this update stack. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to do everything here. I'll just say delete stack, and if I say delete stack, delete is in progress. Okay, so it will take few minutes. I'll just pause the video. Yeah, so this still shows a delete in progress, but if I go to the instances and if I just refresh this, you can see that it is already in a terminated state, my second server. And if I scroll down and if I see the security group, my security group, the new security group that we have created wide open, is also deleted, right? So with this way, it is very easy for us to create and delete the resources in this stack. So this is very heavily used in these days in the project. So this helps a lot in doing a lot of replications, and this is, I can use it from one account to another account as well. For example, if I give these two templates to any of the other user from different AWS account, they will also be able to reuse it. And if I have this template with minor modifications, I'll be able to reuse it as well. So in that way, CloudFormation is one of the very important service from the AWS, and as part of this demo, we tried to demonstrate all the features and the benefits of CloudFormation. Hope it was very useful to you, and thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to Chaturmana's channel so that whenever we upload such educational videos, you'll be get notified. Okay, thanks once again guys, and have a nice day.